Good evening and welcome to Illini Central Gymnasium for tonight's volleyball match between the Mount Pulaski Lady Toppers and the Illini Central Cougars. Starting lineups tonight. Let's get the starters for Illini Central Hill first. Number 20, Jenna Hilgers. Number 33, Sarah Hickman. Number 21 is Taylor Yates. Number 8 for the Cougars, Maddie Gensel. Number 24, Selena Bradshaw, starting for the Cougars. And number 7, Jenna Yates. The libero is number 1, Mariah Behrens. Those are the starters for Illini Central. Let's catch you up with the starters for the Lady Toppers. Number 1, Jessica Aw. Number 5, Brianna Howe. Number 9, Allison Hickey starts for the Toppers, as does number 10, Rachel Dirkholtz. Number 11, Erica Lever is the other starter, along with Whitney Nichols, number 20. And the libero for the Toppers, number 27, Katie Lowry. Waiting for the Toppers on the court, waiting for the Cougars. Here come the Cougars. The officials for tonight's game, Emery Appleberry and Ron Nesbitt. The Cougars enter tonight's game with a record of 16-7. And Mount Pulaski comes in at 22-6. And we're ready to get the action started here tonight. Number 5, Brianna Howe, starts out serving for Mount Pulaski. Here comes her serve down the right side. Bradshaw over to Yates to Hickman, and she gets it over. The set at the net. Number 10, Dirkholtz, can't get it through the block at the net, and it goes down on Mount Pulaski side. Cougars on top 1-0. Hilger serve down the middle, handled by Mount Pulaski. They set it up on the left side, cross court, and to the floor for the kill. The Toppers tie it right back up 1-1. Allison Hickey back to serve for the Toppers, and she serves wide right. Tried to go across the court. Missed wide. Point Illini Central, 2-1. Cougars on top. Sarah Hickman back to serve. Hickman with the serve down the middle. Handled by Mount Pulaski. Here comes the back set. And that kill is long. 10, Dirkholtz missed long on the kill. And now we've got 2 balls on the court here as the shot went up onto the stage. They're bringing in the second ball while the first one got returned back. But we're ready to go again now. Here comes Sarah Hickman, the end of the net, 3-2. Illini Central on top. Dirkholtz back to serve for Mount Pulaski. 5'9" senior. She serves down the middle. It is dug by IC. The set right in the center to Yates. And as it was the other night, that's a successful operation for IC. They like to set up Yates in the middle, and she pounded it down 4-2. Here comes Behrens. She serves down the middle short. It is dug. Mount Pulaski with the set. Dug by Hilgers, gets it back over. Blocked at the net a couple of times. Jenna Yates puts it down. Good play at the net for IC. Good dig. It went right back over. Pulaski tried to come right back. IC up to the task, though, and they get the point, 5-2. Barons with the serve down the middle, short. Here's the set at the middle of the net, wide. That was Dirkholtz. I'm sorry, that was Lever with the attempted kill. Tried to go cross court, missed wide right. 6-2, IC on top. Barons with the serve down the left side. The back set. Through the block at the net. Jessica Awe, 5'4" senior, able to get it through the block and to the floor on the Illini Central side and picks up the point. It is 6-3 Mount Pulaski. Down the right side, Hickman can't get to it. Good placement on the serve. That was Awe with the serve. She went right down the line on the right side. Hickman moved over to try to get it but couldn't come up with it. Good serve, point, Mount Pulaski. Awe back to the right side. This time Hickman gets it. They set up Jenna Yates on the left side, and she goes deep down the middle. Nobody home for Mount Pulaski. It finds the floor, and it is a point for IC. Maddie Gensel back to serve for the Cougars. She serves deep down the middle, handled by Mount Pulaski, and they set up Lever at the net in the middle. She is able to get it down for the kill. Point, Mount Pulaski 7-5 game. Mount Pulaski with the serve, Lever. 5'10" senior serves down the middle, dug by Hickman. It goes over the net, and waiting there is Nichols, a 5'10" senior, and she puts it to the floor. 7-6. Hickman got the dig, but the pass went over the net and to a waiting Mount Pulaski player who was able to get the kill. Good serve. Barons dove to try to dig it, couldn't come up with it. It squirted off to the right, out of bounds. Point, service point by Lever for Mount Pulaski. Here comes your serve again. Tries to go down the middle and short, and comes up short into the net. 8-7, Illini Central on top. Bradshaw with the serve for IC. Down the middle deep. They set up to the left side. Mount Pulaski does. It is handled by IC. They set up Yates at the middle. Jenna Yates this time is deep. Misses long with the attempted kill. So it is a point for the Toppers. Whitney Nichols, 5'10" sophomore, back to serve for the Mount Pulaski. Her serve is down the middle, dug by Barons. Here comes the set to Yates. She tips it, and it goes right back over. They didn't wait for any sets or anything. Mount Pulaski came right back down the line deep on the right side. Nobody home for the Cougars, and it is a point on the next serve. Tries to go down the left side and misses wide. Point Cougars. It is tied at 9 with Jenna Yates serving, and her serve goes into the net. And that puts Mount Pulaski on top 10-9. Tight game so far. Brianna Howe back to serve for the Toppers. She hits out, smashes a net, the ball into the net. Hard serve, but too low. Catches the top of the net. Doesn't climb over. It's 10-10. Service error for Mount Pulaski. Here comes Hilgers. She goes over the net down the middle. They back set. They tip. Doug, handled by IC. They set Yates at the middle. Blocked at the net by Mount Pulaski. Back over, and then a tip by Mount Pulaski finds the floor. They go up 11-10. Good action at the net that time. Good block by Mount Pulaski on Yates. Allison Hickey back to serve. Jump serve. Deep down the middle. Too deep. And it's out of bounds. And we're right back with a tie, 11-11. Mount Pulaski and IC tied up. Sarah Hickman with the serve. She goes deep down the middle. Here comes the set from Mount Pulaski to the left side, pounded into the block. IC got the block, but it came down out of bounds back on the Mount Pulaski side, so it is a point, Mount Pulaski. Rachel Dirkholtz back to serve. She serves short down the middle. Handled by IC. They're setting up Ginsel. She tries to go over the top of the block down the middle. Handled by Mount Pulaski. They set up Dirkholtz. She pounds it down the middle. It is handled by IC. It's going to be a free ball now. Here comes the set at the middle. Into the block. Good block by Yates. That was the sophomore Nichols trying for the kill, but Yates up to the task. Taylor Yates with the block. Goes back to the floor on the Mount Pulaski side, and IC has a point. It's tied at 12. Barons to serve for IC. She goes short down the left side, handled by Mount Pulaski. A tip at the net. That was Lever. She went up, and instead of the spike, went with the tip and is able to get it down in the point. 13-12, Mount Pulaski. It's handled by Hickman. On the serve to Yates on the left side, and she misses long. Jenna Yates set up on the left side, tried to go deep down the middle, went a little bit too long. Here comes the next serve, Jessica by Mount Pulaski. They back set to Ginsel. IC does. It's off the block and out of bounds. Point for Illini Central. Ginsel able to go power the way through the block and picks up the point. Ginsel now with the serve. She goes down the middle short. Handled by Mount Pulaski. They go back set from the right side. It is handled by IC. They set up Bradshaw. She goes into the block and gets it through. It ends up being a lift on the Mount Pulaski blockers. And we're tied at 14. Ginsel with the serve down the middle. Mount Pulaski with the set. Here's a tip again, handled this time by IC. They're setting up Hickman. She goes deep down the middle, and it is too long. 15-14, back and forth game. Mount Pulaski on top. Erica Lever, 5'10 senior, serving for Mount Pulaski. Her serve down the right side. Hilgers handles it. They come back to Hilgers on the set, and she goes long on the attempted kill, 16-14. Been one of the biggest leads we've had all night. It's been back and forth. Lever serves again down the middle. Hickman manages to get it up. They get it over, but it's a free ball. Here comes the set, and it is another tip. Whitney Nichols, a sophomore, instead of trying to pound it through the block, tipped it over to the left side, and it hits the floor. It is a point for Mount Pulaski. They get up by 3. Lever with the serve again. Her serves have been hard to handle. IC hasn't really been able to mount much in offensive against her serves. Just lucky to get the ball back. Mount Pulaski sets up Hickey on the left side. She tries to go cross court and deep and misses long. 17-15. Cougars looking to get back in the match here. Bradshaw with the serve. She goes down the middle. Mount Pulaski at the net. And a violation at the net on Mount Pulaski. Gives the point to IC. Back to serve again, Bradshaw. She goes down the middle. Mount Pulaski with the set. Hickey tries to get the kill, can't. IC comes back. Ginsel deep down the middle. Tip at the net, handled by IC. They're going to get it over on an attempted tip, handled by Mount Pulaski. They set up Dirkholtz in the middle, and she goes down the right side, and Illini Central can't come up with it. And it runs to 18-16 now, Mount Pulaski in the lead. Whitney Nichols to serve. She goes down the left side, handled by IC. Here's the set of Yates in the middle. She goes into the net. She goes into the net. IC then tried to get it over, but that made 4 hits. So Mount Pulaski gets the point. They are now up 19-16. Timeout, Illini Central. Nichols to serve. Coming out of the timeout, she serves down the middle, and Illini Central can't handle it. Goes off Barron's out of bounds, and that makes 20-16. Mount Pulaski stretching out the lead here as we go in the first game. Nichols with the serve again. She goes down the left side. It goes right over. Mount Pulaski comes back, sets up Dirkholtz in the middle, and she pounds it to the floor. 21-16. First time in this game that anybody has made any kind of extended run like this, and Mount Pulaski running out to a 5-point lead here, 21-16. Nichols with the serve, too long. Goes long and misses. Point IC. Jenna Yates back to serve. IC needs to get on a little run themselves here to get themselves back in the game. 21-17. Jenna Yates with the serve down the middle. Here comes the back set. And that is to the floor. Dirkholtz on the right side. They back set to her. She goes, keeps it on the right side, down the line, to the floor. Point Mount Pulaski. They're back up by 5, 22-17. Serve is down the middle. This time it's handled by IC. Here comes their set to Yates on the left side. And she tries to get it through the block and can't. Dirkholtz and Hickey there for the block. Point Mount Pulaski. IC tries to go over quickly on 2. Mount Pulaski returns the favor. Both of them get returned. That gets over somehow by IC. Hickman made a great dig, put it up by the net. Yates guided it back over to the other side. Good point, IC. Hilders to serve. 23-18. Mount Pulaski, she serves down the middle. Handled by Mount Pulaski. Their set goes to the middle of the court to Hickey, and she finds the corner on the right side. Nobody home for IC. Point Mount Pulaski. They're on the verge of winning game 1. They're up 24-18. Allison Hickey back to serve. She serves down the middle. Taken by IC, but it's going to be a free ball. IC does get it over. Here comes the set for Mount Pulaski. It's going to be a free ball. IC setting up Hickman on the left side. Blocked at the net. Up, it goes into the net. Guess not into the block, into the net. That means that's the point for Mount Pulaski, and they win game 1, 25-18. Back for game 2 here at Illini Central Gymnasium. Mount Pulaski wins game 1, 25-18. And we're now ready for the start of game 2. Jenna Hilger serving first for Illini Central, starting off game 2. We're ready to go. Here comes Hilger's serve down the middle. Handled by Mount Pulaski. They're going to set it up in the middle. A tip. And can't be handled by Illini Central. Brianna Howe with the tip to the left side of the court. And IC not able to handle it. Howe with the serve. Dug by IC. Hickman gets it over. It's a free ball now for Mount Pulaski. They go cross court. It's going to be a free ball now for IC. Here comes the set. Yates in the middle. Up in the rafters, and Mount Pulaski recovers and gets it back over. Back set to Ginsel into the net. 2-0 Mount Pulaski. Mount Pulaski able to recover after the ball goes up in the rafters, get it back over. That is allowed on your own side. Hard serve down the middle by Howe, but it is long. Got a lot on that serve. It went a little bit long. 2-2. Hickman, or 2-1, I'm sorry. Hickman served down the middle. Mount Pulaski sets up. Hickey on the right side, dug by IC. They get it back over. Mount Pulaski attacks again. IC recovers. They set up Hickman. She goes long. 3-1 Mount Pulaski. Some real good action that time. Good defense by IC, but they couldn't capitalize and get the point out of it. Allison Hickey back to serve for Mount Pulaski. Jump serve into the net. Hickey starts out way on the left side, comes running towards the middle, jump serves into the net. Mariah Barron serving for IC. She goes short down the middle. Handled by Mount Pulaski. They back set. Jessica Aw goes right down the line on the right-hand side, and it's to the floor, deep in the right corner. Point Mount Pulaski, 4-2, they lead. Rachel Durkoltz back to serve, 5'9" senior from Mount Pulaski. She serves, dug by IC. They set up Ginsel. She goes over the top of the block, handled by Mount Pulaski. They set up Whitney Nichols at the middle of the net. She tips it over the block, and nobody backing up the block for IC. And it gets to the floor, and it's a point Mount Pulaski. They race out to a 5-2 lead here in game 2. Rachel Durkoltz to serve down the middle. Dug by IC. They set up Bradshaw down the middle. It is handled by Mount Pulaski. Cross-court set to number 11, Lever. She tips it. Barely trickles over the net and actually hit the top of the net. Trickled over, and IC called for a lift. They're down now 6-2. Durkoltz with the serve. Handled by IC, but it comes right back over. And now on the offensive, Mount Pulaski, a tip by Lever at the net. Handled by IC. They get him over with a free ball. Jessica Aw with the attempt to kill. Dug by IC. Quick set by Ginsel. That attempted kill by Mount Pulaski goes long. And it is a point for Illini Central. It is now 6-3. IC serving, number 8, Ginsel with the serve down the middle. Dug by Mount Pulaski. Cross-court set to Lever into the block, handled by IC. They get it over. And kind of a mix-up, miscommunication between Mount Pulaski players, and IC gets the point as they cannot handle that tip. 6-4. Ginsel serves again down the middle. Here comes the set. All cross court. Dug by IC. They set up Bradshaw. Tried to set up Bradshaw, but it was too close to the net. Bradshaw couldn't get up and get it, and it falls to the floor. Point Mount Pulaski. They're up 7-4. All with the serve into the net. 7-5. Mount Pulaski has come out trying to serve hard and low, just barely over the top of the net, and they have missed several times. Several service errors for Mount Pulaski. Point IC, Bradshaw on the serve. Dug, set, into the net. Brianna Howe set up on the left side. Her attempt at the kill goes into the net, and IC has crawled back to within one. Bradshaw to serve. She serves down the middle. They set up lever. That dig goes way up in the rafters. IC handles that. Jenna Yates gets it over. Handled by Mount Pulaski. They're going to tip it over. And it is a point. IC couldn't handle it. Tipped it cross court. And it managed to get down to the floor. Point Mount Pulaski. Served by Lowry, the libero. Handled by IC. Yates goes over down the middle. Mount Pulaski backs, sets up Whitney. She gets it over. IC comes back, sets up Hickman. She goes long. 9-6. Hickman misses the kill. Long over the end line. Lowry to serve again for Mount Pulaski. Dug by IC. Hickman gets it over. It's a free ball here for Mount Pulaski. Here comes a back set. Tip. Hickman can't handle it. Point Mount Pulaski. That was Brianna Howe at the net with the tip. Hickman for IC could not get it back over. She jumped up looking for the block on the spike. Instead got the tip. She got a hand on it, but it came over out of bounds on the Mount Pulaski side. So we stand at 10-6, Illini Central with the timeout, talking things over. First timeout for Illini Central. Trying to stop the run here by Mount Pulaski. Unlike the first game, in this game, Mount Pulaski has jumped out to lead and has maintained it throughout the game. Hasn't been a large lead. It got up to 5 at one point. It stands at 4 right now. IC has worked to get back into it. Got it down to 1. And now then Mount Pulaski is pulled away again. 4-point lead, 10-6. Lowry, the libero, back to serve for the Lady Toppers. IC lets that serve go, and it misses long. Over the inline. Good decision. Bradshaw was back there, let it go, and it did miss long. 10-7, IC, Jenna Yates to serve. Here comes the set, cross court by Pulaski into the block. Good block at the net. Mount Pulaski recovers. They get it over. IC comes back, sets up Hilger. She goes into the block. Here comes Mount Pulaski back on the offense. And number 5, Brianna Howe goes down the right line, finds the floor. And it is a point for Mount Pulaski. They go back up by 4 once again. The sophomore, Whitney Nichols, back to serve for Mount Pulaski. Nichols served down the middle, dug by IC. They get Yates in the middle. She tries to get it back across and miss hits. And it's a point for Mount Pulaski. Nichols to serve again. Into the net again. There's been several of those by Mount Pulaski tonight. They've been trying to go right over the top of the net with a hard serve, and they have missed a few times. Helping out the IC cause. IC down 12-8. Hilgers with the serve. Handled by Mount Pulaski. They set it up in the middle. A tip by Durkoltz at the net. IC handles it. They get it over. It's a free ball almost to the floor. Pulaski comes back, sets up Hickey on the left side. She tries to go down the line but misses wide. 12-9. IC trying to crawl back into this. Hilgers with the serve. She serves into the net. I think we're seeing more service errors tonight than any game we've seen all year. 13-9 Mount Pulaski. Howe with the serve. She tries to go down the left side. It is handled by IC, tipped by Ginsel. Here comes the set by Mount Pulaski. And Dirkholt hits it into the net, but it crawls over and gets to the floor. Nobody from IC can return it. It is a point for Mount Pulaski. They go up by 5, 14-9. Jump serve by Howe. It's down on the floor. She went cross court. That ball dove to the floor. Barely cleared the net. Good serve. Strong serve by Brianna Howe of Mount Pulaski. She puts them up by 6, 15-9. Here comes her serve again. Another strong serve, but once again, a service error. Goes into the net. 15-10. IC needs to get something going here. Hickman back to serve. She serves down the right side. Cross-court pass, and then an attempted set at the net. Goes astray and goes over the net, and IC able to put it down. They're back to within 4, 15-11. Hickman on the serve again. She goes down the right side. It is dug by Mount Pulaski. They're going to get it over. Free ball, IC. They set up Yates. She goes into the block and out of bounds off of Mount Pulaski. Point. Strong kill at the net by Yates. They set her up on the right side that time, and she went through the block for the point. 15-12. Hickman to serve again for IC. She goes to the left side, dug by Mount Pulaski. They back set to Hickey. She gets it over. IC handles it. They get back. They set up Yates. She can't get it to the floor. Mount Pulaski handles it. Yates tries to get it down again. Finally, it goes to Allison Hickey on the left side, and she goes right down the line and gets it to the floor for the point. 16-12. Allison Hickey back to serve. She goes deep down the middle. Handled by IC. They set up Bradshaw. Her hit kind of ended up setting on the net, it looked like, for a second. Mount Pulaski falls down to Mount Pulaski's side. They handle it. They set up Nichols. And she puts it into the net. Point IC. 16-13 is the game. Here comes Behrens with the serve. She goes short down the middle. Doug, back set. They go to Awe. Awe tries for the kill. Handled by IC. IC gets it over, but they went under the net. Ginsel came running over. She got it over, but her momentum carried her under the net. That's a violation. That's a point for Mount Pulaski. Dirkholtz with the serve. It's going to be a free ball. IC does get it back. Here comes the set. They use the short set at the net and the tip. And IC can't handle it. Mount Pulaski up by 5, 18-13. And IC takes a timeout to try to regroup and get something going here. They got to get Mount Pulaski stopped. Mount Pulaski up by 5, and it's getting late in the game. IC needs a stop and then needs to get a run to get back into this game. Mount Pulaski won the first one, so they're looking at ending it in 2 here, and they lead by 5. They won the first one 25-18, looking to pick up their 23rd win of the season. IC going for win 17 on the season. We are nearing the end of the year. IC will be playing Thursday night, senior night, here at Illini Central. Encourage you to come out to the game and watch and participate in senior night. And then regional start. Cougars go to Tremont, number 2 seed there next week. Here's Mount Pulaski on the serve. Dirkholtz with the serve. Dug by IC. Yates gets it off the top of the net. It trickles across. Mount Pulaski's return trickles across. It's back over by IC. Mount Pulaski tries to go deep on the tip. Hickman with an attempted kill from the back row, and that is blocked at the net. Whitney Nichols, the sophomore, up, and she put it right back to the floor. Into the net. That was number 11, Lever. It is 18-15. Said that IC needed to stop and get on the ground. They're trying to do that right here. Here comes Gensel's serve. She goes down the middle, off the attempted dig, and out of bounds. 18-16. IC getting back into this. Trying to make a game of it. Trying to make this go to 3 games. Gensel serving again. Her serve is deep down the middle and long. 19-16. Gensel tried to go deep, went a little bit too deep, goes over the inline. Mount Pulaski to serve. Short right, dug by IC. Back set to Jenna Yates. It is dug by Mount Pulaski, goes over the net, so IC coming right back on the tap. Bradshaw into the block and comes back on the IC side. They cannot handle it. Point Mount Pulaski. To serve again. Short down the middle. IC gets the dig. They set up Bradshaw. She tries to go cross court and goes long. And just like that, Mount Pulaski up by 5 again. IC had closed it now. Mount Pulaski up by 5. Again. Service error into the net. Mount Pulaski's had quite a few of those. 21-17. Bradshaw to serve. IC has to get something going here. Bradshaw down the middle. Handled by Mount Pulaski. They set up Lever at the net. She tips it. Gensel tries a quick set. Doesn't work. Mount Pulaski's ready. Again, a tip. Lever. She has done that very effectively tonight. Been able to tip it over the block. Find the floor. Nobody backing up the block for IC. Lever gets the point. 22-17. Served by Mount Pulaski. IC gets it over, but it's a free ball. Here comes the set. Back set. A tip at the net. IC's dig goes back over the net, and right there with the kill is Whitney Nichols. It was almost like a set, but it came from the IC side. Mistake by IC. Mount Pulaski capitalizes on it. Lowry with the serve. Down the middle. IC can't get it over. Poor passing by IC. They don't get the set. They've struggled to handle the service of Mount Pulaski. Haven't been a whole lot of aces, but IC hasn't been able to handle them very good. That one goes off Barron's and to the floor, and it's a service point, and Mount Pulaski wins. They take game 2, just as they did game 1. Score in game 2, 25-17. Mount Pulaski in 2 tonight, 25-18, 25-17. Impressive team, Mount Pulaski. Do a lot of things well. Only thing that seemed to be something that caused them some problems were their serves. They had quite a few service errors, but outside of that, not much wrong that they did. They very impressive tonight. First game started out close for a while before Mount Pulaski pulled away late. Second game, Mount Pulaski jumped out ahead early and just kind of maintained that lead throughout. IC did cut it down to a couple of points there late, but then Mount Pulaski very quickly went back out ahead by 5 or 6 and finishes with an 8-point win, 25-17. Mount Pulaski goes to 23-6. Illini Central falls to 17-7. IC's next volleyball action will be Thursday night. It will be senior night here at the IC Gymnasium. We encourage you all to come out and take part in senior night, honoring our senior volleyball players, golfers, and cross-country members. And as the volleyball season, regular season draws to a close, don't forget next week the Cougars travel to Tremont. They will play at Tremont. We'll have more for that schedule. You can check at the school and find out. We'll have more of that schedule here for you come Thursday night. And look forward to competing in the regionals. That's it from Illini Central Gymnasium tonight. Mount Pulaski a winner in 2, 25-18, 25-17 over the Cougars. If you can't make it to the gym Thursday night, be sure and tune in and watch us on ihsa.tv/Illini Central. For Tony Worley, who turns all the knobs behind the scene, this is John Giesler saying good night from Illini Central Gym.